Incredibles 2 is directed by Brad Bird. It brings back pretty much the exact same voice cast as the first one. The only difference is Dash is now played by someone else. But if I wouldn't have looked that up, you can't tell. The new person does a really good job. It has been 14 years since the original Incredibles, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for this and everything, and I can report that this new one is as good, if not better, than the original Incredibles. I thought it was kind of interesting how this film chooses where to begin. It starts exactly where the last one left off, with the Underminer coming up and everything like that right after Dash's second place during the track meet. And I thought that was interesting because a lot of the voice actors have aged and they sound older, but it didn't take me out of it too much. But I thought it was interesting how they chose to pick up right there and not maybe some years down the road or something like that. But at the same time, that is a really good thing because our story is able to pick up exactly where the other one left off, so it doesn't feel like we're missing anything necessarily. I watched the first one right before this one, and that's something I would probably suggest to a lot of people, especially if you haven't seen it in a while, which I hadn't. And it's a lot easier to know where we're at with all the characters and everything if you watch it right before. So we're picking up right after, as I've already said plenty of times now, and with that, the supers are still illegal, and I guess the major plot of this is the legalization of supers and if they should be legal and what that means for the Parr family and what that means for other supers that might be in hiding and stuff like that. And I thought that was a really good plot to jump off of. There's a lot of different conversations that are had in this movie. It is something I should point out is this isn't necessarily a cartoon. It's an animated film, but it doesn't ever feel like a cartoon in the same sense that like one of the DreamWorks, or like the Minions, it feels like a cartoon or something like that. This one is definitely a film, a movie, and it isn't made necessarily for kids. Now, kids can enjoy it. There's a lot of really good action scenes. It's really funny, and kids can definitely enjoy it, but at the same time, it's very enjoyable for adults and everything like that. And I'm glad they took that into consideration because a lot of the people who saw the original Incredibles whenever they were kids, like myself, are now adults, and I'm glad they made it enjoyable for people my age and even older than me too. Alright, story's cool, and this movie has a really good story, has a great script, but the best part of this movie has to be the action scenes, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. There's some cool action scenes in the first one, but there are some amazing action scenes in this. Right from the start with the Underminer sequence, I could already tell that they really went the extra mile with how they're framing these scenes and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting to talk about that since it is animated, but I mean there was a director of photography and everything that these scenes are framed really good. There's a really cool monorail sequence that reminded me of something Steven Spielberg might do, and there's just so many different scenes throughout this, and how this movie balances those action scenes is with scenes back home with the family and everything like that. And I thought that was really cool because you're going high speed, high chase, saving all these people's lives, and then you're going back to Bob trying to teach Dash math and getting confused because they changed the way people do math now. And I thought that was really cool. The characters seem real, even though they have these amazing powers and everything. Bob's conversations with his kids and everything seem real, and I really appreciated that. They did a really good job, and that comes down to the script and also the voice actors. They do a good job of making you think that they're having conversations with each other and everything like that. So the overarching story of this is almost like a role reversal of the first one. If you've seen any of the trailers for this, even the early trailers, you can tell that This time around, it's Elastigirl that's working and doing the superhero gig while Bob is left at home with the kids. With that, this definitely feels like Elastigirl's movie to me. She is where the story takes off, and how the story is pushed forward is through her, which I thought is very, very cool. I liked that a lot, because the first one was definitely Mr. Incredible is the one, doing the superhero stuff and pushing the story forward, even though there are scenes back with Elastigirl at home with the kids and everything like that, or where she goes to rescue him later on. But this one, I liked how they changed that. And with that, it's cool because they don't do it completely the same as the first one. There's a couple of things that I was like, this person's bad, or this is gonna happen like this, because that's similar to how the first one was set up, but it doesn't do that, and it tricks you a little bit, and I really liked that because it's not predictable. The one thing that kind of is meh on this movie for me was the villain. I didn't love the villain. It's not terrible, but I feel like it could have been a little bit better. The idea of the villain is cool, like the powers and everything like that, but the actual like revelation and stuff behind the villain, I was kind of like, it just didn't work for me a lot. But at the same time, it didn't really hurt the movie that much to me. Like, I wasn't really thinking about that all that much. Brad Bird as the director and all the voice actors combined and everything just make this such a chemistry-laden film. That might sound weird, but in every dialogue situation and all of the different family aspects of this movie, they just have such a good chemistry that it makes it feel like a real family, even though they're animated. It makes it feel like how real people would talk to each other and everything like that. And in a world where we have stuff like Fan Four Stick or some of these other films that are just really, really hard to take seriously with the characters interacting with each other, it's really refreshing to have this film where the characters are talking to each other, Bob trying to fix Violet's boy problems and just completely failing at that, as all dads do, sadly. Even Lucius Frozone coming over and talking with Bob, you'd see a guy and his best friend trying to solve these situations with their kids and everything like that. They just really outdid themselves with the script and the voice acting and getting that really good chemistry that makes it feel like a family, And I really appreciate how good they did at that for this. And all of that adds up to what is clearly the best animated film of the year. There hasn't been a whole lot, but at the same time, this one is so good, and Pixar really outdid themselves with this. I'm glad to see with Coco and with this that Pixar's, back on track and they're doing really good. It's not that they were making bad movies necessarily, it's just that we were always expected this excellence from them and everything like that, and it's been a bit since we had those really excellent films, and I feel like with these last two that they've been fantastic. And all of that is why I'm going to give Incredibles 2 a 9 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic. I think everyone should go see it, whether it's a kid, whether it's adult, whether you're taking a kid, whether you're going by yourself. It doesn't matter. Take the family. And go enjoy this movie. Go enjoy this really good superhero movie with some awesome action scenes in it and some really funny moments. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. You watched all the video. You did it. You made it to the end. And now you can watch me babble more and say more if you go right here and watch one of my old videos, or go over here and subscribe and watch all of my old videos. And even if you wouldn't do that, I really appreciate it if you scroll all the way down past all these other similar videos to mine that aren't as good and leave me a comment and let me know what you think I did. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.